Hello and welcome to the show of Sharing Vietnam on VTC10 NetViet channel. Music is always an endless inspiration to the modern artist. Music artist is not only a challenging but also an interesting job since it creates more opportunity for the artist to be always creative. Today, we are going to meet Mr. Access Mo and Mr. Nick Ford, who are known as Son FM in a joint performances. We'll listen to their story about the interesting music that they are performing. Hello, Access Mo. Hello, Nick Ford. Thank you for joining the show today. So the first questions I want to ask you, the reason why you want to choose Vietnam to live and work in?
My father and my brother live in Vietnam, and about 4 years ago they invited me to come here and join them. And when I came to Vietnam, and every day for me, there's so many interesting things to experience and see, and I knew right away that I wanted to live here. And the creative energy in Vietnam is very different than where I'm from. I'm from America, and it has a different feeling here. When people work together and make art and make things, it's a different kind of experience, and so I want to be a part of that.
How about you, Nick?
Yeah, just came to Vietnam, just felt very comfortable with the people, and I said to myself, yep, I want to live here.
So how do you describe the music that you are doing now?
About creating a new kind of musical language. So we come from very different backgrounds. We use very different techniques. But when we started to work together, we soon discovered that we could create a whole new way of making music that neither of us had ever heard before. Many people would describe it as experimental, but there's no experiment.
You could call that ambient music.
The music is so different than what people are used to. So that there's very...
And why is it different?
It's different because we don't use traditional rhythms, we don't use traditional melodies, we don't use traditional harmonies. Our music is about the interaction of different sounds together and the space between sounds and ideas. And because it's so different than what people are used to, they can let go of all of their expectations and just experience the music in one moment. And that's what we're about, is experiencing a moment.
Well, yeah, the main difference to a lot of music that I listen to, that we allow the rhythmic element of the music to behave in its own way. We don't try to control, but allow them to behave naturally with each other, and therefore then more organic and more interesting to the listener.
For somebody who's never heard anything like this before, when they hear it, they still feel emotions. They still feel present in that moment. So we don't need the expectations of the beat and of the melody and the harmony. We can experience emotion and time and stories and beauty without those expectations.
Working here for years in Vietnam as a music artist, so do you use materials of Vietnamese music in your show?
Not as yet.
We have used a bit
Oh, sorry, yeah. No, go on, carry on.
We've used a little bit of Vietnamese radio.
Yeah.
We did a performance for an art exhibition that was it was called The Ether, so about sort of everything coming down from the sky. And so we got really inspired by listening to the radio and the sound of the radio. So we began to use some little tiny bits of Vietnamese radio, and we would let them repeat and combine them together, and then the same technique, letting things sort of drift apart until you can discover the new sounds in between.
Yeah, it was a member of the public who phoned up the radio show to basically talk about something that was happening in their life.
Talking about Son FM, when was it formed?
It was formed about a year and a half ago. Like Nick said, we met at a bar, and we decided to try and play music together. The idea originally was to play dance music, but we got away from it pretty quickly, and we discovered that we could create a new musical language for ourselves.
The Dreams Within the Dream is the name of your latest show. So why do you choose that name for your show?
This concert is a cine-concert. So at the concert, they will show a movie, a film from 1979 by the French director Pierre Clementi. And this is an abstract film. So the director made this film with some clips, some footage from over 10 years of his life and his career.
He was a French actor.
It does not have a traditional story from beginning to end. It's very abstract. It's many different images that kind of come together, and you start to experience a rhythm of these images. And so they will show the film, and we create the music live. So the audience experiences both the film and this new music, which only exists this one time, right? It comes out of nowhere, and then when the film is over and the music stops, that music is gone forever, like a dream, right? Like when you have a dream, there's a real world in your head, but then after you wake, where does it go? It's gone. Yeah. Have you ever had a dream in which you had another dream?
Yeah, sometimes I have that kind of experience.
Right. And so when we dream, we create a world for ourselves. And no matter how weird or strange or wild this world that we make is, no matter how crazy it is, in that moment, we're very comfortable. That's our world. It seems so familiar to us, right? Even if all of a sudden, a green horse walks into the interview, if it's our dream, we're comfortable with that. So anything can happen, and there can be any number of dreams within that dream. And this film also has this quality to it where you see so many different worlds and different images, different times, and different stories, but you feel completely comfortable in that moment.
What is the emotional journey that audience can have when they come to your show?
In a dream, we have emotions, right? So in this film and in our music, if you let go of what you think is supposed to happen or what you think is going to happen, you can experience the pure emotion before thought. Okay, so speaking about emotions and images, the connection between image and emotion is very strong. So for example, in this film, there are so many different images, but they make you feel something right away. So for example, when you see an image of a mother and a child, right, you immediately feel something in your heart. And then a moment later, when you see an image of violence, you feel something completely different. And you don't need to know the whole story. You don't need to know why. If you're just present with your emotions, you will feel that right in that moment. And with the music, we try to do the same thing.
So do you have any messages for your show that you want to deliver to the audience?
I don't know if there's one clear message. I would like our audience to experience a moment that is removed from time, removed from their normal life, where they can really feel what right now is like. Because I think most of us, we don't get that. Usually we spend our time thinking about the future or thinking about the past, maybe worrying about what will happen later today or later this year, or regretting something that we said to somebody or something that we did. And we don't take a lot of time to know what it's like to be ourselves in one moment. And that's what I hope the audience can take away from our performances.
as a DJ, as a producer of dance music, I have to know what it's doing. I have to know what it's going to do. I have to be ahead and take the people on this journey. But with this project, it's about not knowing, and it's about enjoying. It's about the process of setting something up where you no longer know exactly the outcome. If we can give that same experience to people in the audience, then that's the message.
Last but not least, can you share with us your plans in the near future?
We plan to continue to develop this new musical language. Over time, we get better at this, right? It sounds so abstract and so strange, but there is some moments that are better than others, and as we develop our techniques and as we get more experience playing together and playing for audiences and doing things like playing with film, the language becomes more clear, and we can generate this present sort of response more easily. And I think that's better for the audience, right? We want the audience to really feel.
A big goal for me is to develop this idea into possibly a more dance music.
Thank you for sharing today. I heard many interesting stories, and I strongly believe that some of the young artists will be inspired by your music. So
We hope so.
I wish you a great success in what you are doing now. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching. See you next time on Sharing Vietnam, and goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.